This episode is brought to you by Accenture. When your advertising operations fall out of sync, everything else follows. Spotify and Accenture are working together to reinvent the rhythm of ad sales, using automation, analytics, and smarter workflows to simplify campaign delivery and access better data across the business. The result? Less time spent on operations, more time connecting brands with the moments and fandoms that matter most. Learn more at accenture.com/Spotify.
The new LinkedIn Hiring Pro can't undo your last hire. The human postponer. They were the master of one phrase. I'll circle back on that. But 3 months later, you are the one doing all their work and wondering how big that circle is. But LinkedIn Hiring Pro can take the hiring load off your plate by automating the hiring busy work from the initial job post to scheduling interviews. Hire right the first time with LinkedIn Hiring Pro. Post a free job today at linkedin.com/quality.
This podcast is part of the Robots Radio Rocket Club, a program designed to help all podcasts reach their full potential. For information about joining the Robots Radio Rocket Club, check out robotsradio.net.
Welcome to Holocron Histories, Star Wars Canon versus Legends, where we're going to take a deep dive into the lore of the Star Wars universe.
Hello and welcome to the Holocron Histories podcast, where we talk about Star Wars canon versus legends. I am one of your hosts, Austin, also known as Teacup, also known now as Jedi Master Teacup. These are the facts that are happening.
Oh my gosh, and I am your other host, Ben of Temeria, and yeah, we had a fun discussion pre-show. Oh my god, that was funny.
Yes, for $3 million, I would pay $3 million to be in Star Wars, and I would be Jedi Master Teacup.
There you have it, everyone. We now know what Austin will do with $3 million. Make sure he
$3
wins...
million extra dollars.
Extra dollars. So essentially, we have to wait until the Powerball gets up to over $1 billion, and then win it, and then we can get into Star Wars.
Well, yeah, I have to have enough to pay off my debt, my wife's debt, my parents' debt.
Yeah, that's why I said over $1 billion.
Yeah,
then you'd be good.
Right. And then if I had an extra $3 million, I would pay that to be in Star Wars. But yeah, see, if it was George Lucas Star Wars, I might pay a little more.
Okay. But what if it was Dave Filoni's Star Wars and you could just voice the character?
$3 million.
Okay.
$3 million.
All right, that's fair.
So, we are here not to talk about what we would do with $3 million, but we are here to talk about Star Wars. Particularly, we are taking a break from our planets and focusing in on a character that is pretty well loved across the fandom. I would say.
Yeah, I would agree with that as well. This character is very well appreciated, loved, and everybody wants this character to be canonized so badly, and for more reasons.
I don't.
Well, I know.
I don't.
Okay, if they ever do, they will definitely have to dumb him down, power scale him down from what he was in the books in the game.
Well,
or
this is my thing.
Or go on.
With what they've done with the stories so far, they would have to completely change.
Oh yeah, they would have to
almost
change his character completely.
Everything around his character, and I just don't think I want that.
That's fair.
I like the Legends character, and I like his story. I know that probably as we get in, we probably won't get into Force Unleashed 2. That'll probably be the second part
of it.
But I know that is a little more controversial as far as if people liked that or not. But
yeah, but nonetheless, the character we are speaking of is none other than Galen Marek, or what most people will know him as, Starkiller, Vader's secret apprentice. So, kick things off, we are going to be going over stuff that will happen in the original Force Unleashed game, as well as some of the comics that happened. So there is spoilers on that game if you have not played it. Now, the game is, well over a decade old, so if you haven't played it yet, what are you doing? It's a great Star Wars game. Go play it. But there's your spoiler warning. So, we have the early years. So, Galen Marek was a child during the early years of the Galactic Empire in the Great Jedi Purge. The son of Kinto Marek and Mali Marek, Galen was born with the extremely powerful connection to the Force. His parents were both members of the Jedi Order. They married in secret during the Clone Wars, a conflict between the Galactic Republic and the Confederacy of Independent Systems, which they continued to participate until Mary became pregnant. So, right off the bat, so a lot of this, like the early year stuff that we're going to be getting into right here, we do not find about this at all in the games. We find this through comics. And it's interesting to know there was another Jedi in the Jedi Order that secretly got married. But to another Jedi instead of a senator.
Yes.
So.
There's been a lot that just secretly get married.
Yeah. That's true. In Legends, a lot of Jedi secretly get married.
Or secretly have children.
Yeah, that too.
Looking at you. Well, is it really fair for Satele? I mean, she kind of comes from
a family that does that.
Yes.
It shouldn't be expected from her family line, honestly.
Yes. Did she do that before she was Grandmaster?
Yes. It was before she was Grandmaster because it so this is that little side thing from Starkiller. So Teal had her kid with, you see the dad of Theron in one of the trailers for SWTOR. He's the bulky Republic soldier that takes Malgus one-on-one and he throws a grenade at him. And that's
one that kind of looks like Tamar Morrison.
Yes. Yep. So that's the father of Theron, and I'm pretty sure, we do meet him in game, and obviously it's Satele. But anyway, back to Starkiller. As a result, they reluctantly deserted the Order and fled to the Outer Rim territories prior to Order 66, a contingency directive that instructed all Republic clone troopers to execute their Jedi officers, the accumulation of the Sith plot to exterminate the ancient rebels while simultaneously transforming the Republic into a dictatorship. The war itself had been orchestrated by the Dark Lord of the Sith, Darth Sidious, and turned the clone army against the Jedi through his public eyes as Supreme Chancellor Palpatine shortly before his ascension as Emperor of the Galaxy. The Marek family was constantly on the run, moving from planet after in another effort at an increasing tensions of the war. They ultimately settled on Kashyyyk, sometime shortly before or soon after Order 66. However, their new life was cut short while Mali was killed while protecting Wookiees from Trandoshan mercenaries and slave traders, leaving her husband to raise Galen alone. When Imperial spies learned that the Jedi's fight with the slaves, a large military force was deployed to Kashyyyk under the command of the Emperor's apprentice, the Sith Lord Darth Vader. During their battle, Vader defeated Kinto Marek in a lightsaber duel and discovered the Jedi Knight's son, impressed by Galen's potential in the Force, as demonstrated by his reflective use of the telekinesis. Vader abducted the younger Marek shortly after he killed the boy's father and a squad of stormtroopers in order to keep Galen's existence a secret. Despite his outward loyalty to Palpatine, Vader harbored much hatred towards Sith Master and intended to overthrow him with Marek as his secret apprentice. As such, he endeavored to teach him the ways of the dark side of the Force, and his new disciple, whom he first controlled through fear, before training Marek to harness his anger and other base emotions. So, this is also where Vader, goes on Kashyyyk. This is the very beginning of Force Unleashed, where you start up the game and it's like, oh my god, you're playing as Vader. Holy crap, this is awesome. And you're just hacking and slashing literally everything in your path and mowing everyone down with no effort. It's great.
Yeah. I remember when you sat in there and I literally just force pushed Wookiees off a bridge. And the bridge moved with the force push. And I was like, this is awesome. This is the greatest thing that has ever existed.
Yeah, the ragdoll effects and the like just the physics in the game alone was very advanced during the time. And they even with this game, this is one of the very few games back during this was what, 2007?
Mm-hmm.
Where they used mocap for a lot of it.
Mm-hmm.
Which is fairly new technology during the time. So at least for video games. So, now we get to his part where Galen is training under Vader. So, enclosed on board Vader's incomplete flagship, the Executor, he was given the codename Starkiller. The apprentice repressed all memories of his previous life and spent the next 2 decades training as a Sith under Darth Vader's supervision, with the ultimate goal of standing at Vader's side against Palpatine. Darth Vader was not a kind guardian, and his brutal training methods borderlined on torture. He taught Starkiller how to draw on his hate and rage for power, while giving him training in only the basics before forcing the apprentice to develop his own methods through sparring matches and brutal tests. Starkiller was provided with a lightsaber training holodroid, Proxy, who is capable of incredibly imitating Jedi and programmed to regularly attack Starkiller with lethal intent to keep him sharp. Another brutal training regimen devised by Vader. Despite this, Proxy developed a close relationship with his master, providing the Force adept with deep compassion to stay sane. Which is all good and everything, because if you're a rage-filled person, you kind of go insane at some point.
Yeah.
And then, yeah. And then, despite Vader's cruel treatment, some of the worst horrors Starkiller endured were actually self-inflicted. On one occasion, Starkiller had Proxy chain him immobile in the dark and deprived him of nourishment until he had successfully assembled a lightsaber through telekinesis. While the exercise has been a failure, Starkiller felt it strengthened him. In meditation, Starkiller took to staring at the ignited lightsaber blade, using the red coloration to make himself think of anger and carnage in order to draw on the dark side of the Force. However, Starkiller remained endlessly frustrated by his inability to experience visions of the future, and as such, any break from usual routine would surprise him. Starkiller took on the role of Vader's personal assassin and enforcer, dispatching problematic individuals throughout the Imperial military and government with vicious enthusiasm. Starkiller personally developed into a staunch imperialist, viewing these assassinations as a form of service to the Empire. Yeah, and this is also, like, we started getting a little bit more of this info in Force Unleashed as you're playing along after the whole training session and everything. And then, to this end, Starkiller was provided with a custom-designed ship, the Rogue Shadow, an Imperial officer assigned to serve him as his pilot. For although Starkiller was a skilled pilot in his own right, Vader preferred that his apprentice focus on meditation and other exercises while enlisted pilot delivered him to his destination. There was eventually a high turnover for such individuals, as they would be either killed in the field or executed by Vader. Yeah, so either they died on the mission, or Vader they upset Vader in some sort of way. He just hacked them off, even though it was his idea to give Starkiller a pilot.
Mm-hmm.
And then his first
classic Vader,
right? Oh, I don't like you. Yeah, here's a force choke. You're dead. Literally. Any conversation that man has. So his first pilot was a old sergeant who, according to Starkiller, flew the Rogue One like an oil barge. One of his missions with this pilot involved hunting down a treacherous Imperial aide on Malostar who had a run with gambling debts. With Proxy's help, Starkiller infiltrated the aide's security installation in Port Mixolito and crawled through the ventilation ducts and to his target's private chambers. Starkiller then force-choked the Age while he was working his desk. The sergeant was later executed for tardiness. Another mission took him to Duro, where the local Imperial depot had grown overly ambitious. Starkiller developed an unending dislike for all-terrain scout transports during that mission. So he doesn't like ATSTs.
No, he does not.
Like, at all. And you do get that in the game, too. Like, he makes comments. It's like, I don't like these things, or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then, when engaging Vader in a sparring match in 3 BBY, Starkiller expected to be business as usual afterwards. However, it was the end of it. Vader ordered Starkiller to kneel before him, believing that his time has come to an end. Starkiller obeyed and waited for death. Instead, Darth Vader formally knighted Starkiller, officially recognizing him as his first time as his apprentice, something that Starkiller has always believed himself to be. He declared Starkiller's training complete and dispatched him on his first test. The surviving Jedi Master Rob Koda was attacking an Imperial shipyard above Nar Shaddaa. In response, Vader ordered Starkiller to kill Koda and to bring the Jedi's lightsaber back as proof of Koda's death. Vader also left Starkiller with orders to leave no witnesses by killing everyone in the shipyard, including the Imperial troops, an order the Imperialist Starkiller found disturbing. But not wishing to displease his master, Starkiller was quick to hide his reluctance and voice his complaints, convincing himself that he was just another stepping stone to achieving his Sith destiny. As they approached the Rogue Shadow, Starkiller awkwardly met with his new pilot, Juno Eclipse. The main reason for the Starkiller's surprise was that he never had a female pilot before, and he afterwards became convinced that he was some sort of test from Vader. So, there's that. In which we do know, obviously, I don't know if Vader truly meant Juno to be a test for him or what, but it kind of backfired, in my opinion.
I think that initially Vader did end it as a test or a point that Vader could use Juno to manipulate Starkiller.
No, that's a fair point. Because, you know, Vader, back when he was Anakin, was manipulated all the time with Senator Amidala. Mm-hmm. All the time. She's in danger, he sped to her side every single time. So now
Of course he did.
Right. And rightfully so, but, you know, it's not the Jedi way. So now we get to the TIE Fighter construction facility. So departing the Executor for Nar Shaddaa, Starkiller was informed about Rom Koda by proxy. Koda was a respected Jedi general during the Clone Wars, but he was a military genius. He considered clone troopers unfit for battle, instead relying on his own militia. When Order 66 was issued, there was no clones in his squad to obey, and Koda was able to disappear. See, Koda was the smart one. Like, he actually saw through things.
Yeah, because, you know, we hate on Pon Krell so much for his treatments of the clones, but he wasn't wrong to distrust the clones.
No, not at all.
He was just wrong to blame the clones.
Yes, absolutely. Which they actually just announced, Funko just announced a 2-pack Funko Pop with Prom Cal and Rex together. And it's like, I don't know how I like this.
I don't like it.
It's like, I like the Rex, but I don't know if I want Prom Cal as this pop figure. So, informed by Eclipse via the comlink and the command center has been stormed by Koda's militia, Starkiller made to his destination with tactical updates from Juno. Starkiller carved his way through the facility, all while the warning forces became progressively more alerted by his presence. The militia forces thought he was some kind of shadow trooper, while the stormtroopers were merely thought he was a Jedi. And then within the command center, Starkiller encountered Rom Koda. Both were surprised by what they saw. Starkiller had thought the Jedi was a soft from a life of privilege and hadn't expected the hardened soldier that Coda was. And Coda was expecting Darth Vader to come personally, not to send a boy in his stead. And this is, okay, pause here. So we all know the Kratos boy line from the 2018 God of War. But when I hear boy, I literally think Ram Coda because of freaking Force Unleashed. Because that's all he called Starkiller. Boy. All the time.
You know what I hear? We'll get to this probably either at the end of this episode or near the beginning of next. But all I hear when I think of this that just lives rent free in my head from Ram Coda is reach out with the Force and grip that destroyer.
That will be next week's episode, but yes. Oh, that was a great scene too. So, unconcerned, Starkiller drove Coda's own blade into his eyes, blinding him. As Coda stumbled backwards, Starkiller suddenly experienced his own vision, seeing his forgotten father in Coda's place, telling him to run, pulling back. Fearing that Coda was using a mind trick of some sort, he gave Coda the opening he needed to escape. Coda dropped his lightsaber and unleashed a tunelic blast and shattered the viewports of the command center. The drastic pressure change sucked out Coda, who dropped spread-angled into Nar Shaddah's atmosphere. Starkiller retrieved Coda's lightsaber before himself jumped out of the shattered viewports, laying on top of the rogue shadow as it passed underneath. While satisfied the gravely wounded and blinded Coda would no longer be a problem, Starkiller had disappeared with his failure to actually kill the Jedi. Darth Vader was pleased with Starkiller's performance, but felt that his apprentice remained unfocused and easily distracted, drawing Coda's lightsaber on him to illustrate his point. Words. Yeah, so that's like the first, 2 hours of the game?
First level of the game.
First level, because it was all level based back then, of gameplay and whatnot. But yeah, that was the first level. So I mean, yeah, Starkiller literally carves through this facility like crazy, and it's just fun throwing stormtroopers all over the place and force pushing them all over the place. It's great.
My favorite ability is the lightning bomb, where you can lift something up, shock it, and then throw it, and it's in a lightning bomb.
Yes.
I would do that with stormtroopers. I would pick up a stormtrooper, charge it with lightning, throw the stormtrooper into a bunch of other stormtroopers.
That's a good one. My favorite... So I love using the repulse ability that he has. So, but in and this is weird, the Wii version of Force Unleashed had an exclusive force power called I think it was called Maelstrom or something like that.
Oh.
And
I didn't know that.
It so repulse would you gathered force energy and repulse everything around you. Like I think it was called Maelstrom. I'll have to look that up. But you would literally gather a bunch of energy and enemies swirling around you, and you would just explode with energy.
Yeah, I feel like we complained too much about the console exclusive features like that in the Wii, and the fact that only the Xbox version got the indoor DLC for Force Unleashed 2. I feel like we complained about that they just said, okay, we're going to go back to more console exclusives.
Yeah, it was Force Maelstrom. It was the ability where it combined the protection bubble, telekinesis, and Force Lightning all in one move. Yeah, that one was fun. I think it's only a Wii exclusive. I don't remember it being in any of the other games, but I could be completely wrong. My first playthrough of Force Unleashed was on the Wii, surprisingly enough, and then I played it way later on Xbox. But the Wii version was fun too, because they also had the Wii version also had 2-player dueling, so you can play as Starkiller and other Force-wielders and fight each other.
Do you remember the versus arena from the Revenge of the Sith game?
Yes.
Oh, I loved that.
Yeah. See, the old Star Wars games had so much fun and so much. They were fighting Star Wars games, and it was great.
Yes.
And now we don't really get that, which is kind of sad. But at least with people to people, not AI and whatnot. But at this point, it's a good time to take a quick mid-break.
All right.
Experience a membership that backs your business journey with American Express Business Platinum. Earn 5 times membership rewards points on flights and prepaid hotels booked on AmexTravel.com. Plus, apply to find out your welcome offer, which could be as high as 300,000 membership rewards points. American Express Business Platinum. There's nothing like it. Terms apply. Welcome offers vary, and you may not be eligible for an offer. Learn more at americanexpress.com/business-platinum.
This episode is brought to you by Perfect Bistro Cat Food. Hey guys, today I'm interviewing my cat about his perfect bistro food. Percy, you seem to be a big Perfect Bistro fan. Care to comment? Totally. What do you like about it? You love the high-quality ingredients? And the delicious flavors, of course. Yeah, that makes a ton of sense. Listen to Percy, guys. Visit perfectbistro.com to try it for your cat.
It's all good. You can start now.
Okay, I know it mutes me when it does that, but just I'm used to on the other shows that we don't do live, we don't have the mid breaks, so that's why I jump in. But anyway, so welcome to the middle of the show where we take time to thank our patrons. Thank you to all of our patrons who come out and support us. And if you want to support us and join us on our patron chats, you can do that by going to patreon.com/holocronhistories and signing up. We greatly appreciate that. If you can't support us that way, that's fine. Leave us ratings and reviews on Apple or Spotify. If you do that, leave us 5 stars and some kind words or a kind comment on Spotify. We will read it out on a future episode of the show. Do we have comments to read?
We do have a Spotify comment. It is from Ghost Rider on our last episode we had, asking if we can do a Captain Rex deep dive. Thanks, OG fan. Which, yeah, we'll get there. We'll get to Rex at some point.
Yes. Rex. We'll do Rex. We'll do all of the people.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Other than that, we do go live with this show, so come check us out live on Tuesdays at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. You can check us out there and hang out with us and comment live as we talk about this and hear our banner. And when I make bad jokes, you can call me out on it in real time. The other thing that you can do is come over to Discord and join one of our Discord servers, all of our Discord servers. Joining none is not an option. Join at least one.
Or all 3.
Or all 3. That's the Robots Radio, the Ben and Friends podcasting server, and the Cups podcasting and more server. You can do that and hang out and check out our other shows, which are which we thought were a plethora, but then pretty soon we're gonna release an episode where Ben and I will be on together, and you'll meet someone who has more than Ben and I combined.
Yeah. I thought we had a lot of shows, and Tom has a lot of shows. No. Mm-hmm. No, he has more than Tom.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy.
Well, Tom cut back too.
That's true. But yeah, come find out on all of our shows on the Robots Radio stuff and our Discords. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
But anything else we should add in the mid-break?
No, I think that's all that's going on in the mid-break.
Cool. Let's get back into more Starkiller.
Suffering from dry, tired, irritated eyes? Don't let dry eyes win. Use Systane Pro. It hydrates, restores, and protects dry eyes for up to 12 hours. Sustain Pro, triple action dry eye relief.
Hey, it's Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. Now, I was looking for fun ways to tell you that Mint's offer of unlimited premium wireless for $15 a month is back. So I thought it would be fun if we made $15 bills. But it turns out that's very illegal. So there goes my big idea for the commercial. Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3 months, $90 for 6 months, or $180 for 12-month plan required. $15 per month equivalent. Taxes and fees extra. Initial plan term only. Greater than 50 gigabytes may slow when network is busy. See terms.
All right, we're back. And now we have Starkiller's Trial of Skill. So, if you've played the game before, you know where we're going. We are going back to the Jedi Temple. So, in order to develop his skills and focus, Starkiller was ordered by Darth Vader to go to the Jedi Temple on Coruscant to continue his training. Juno Eclipse landed the Rogue Shadow just outside the front entrance of the temple where Starkiller disembarked, only to be confronted by the local Imperial garrison, who revealed that Emperor Palpatine had placed the Jedi Temple off limits to the general public. Following the corridor he cleared, he eventually made his way to the Jedi Trials chamber, where, inspecting the rooms, Starkiller experienced a vision of sorts, hearing his father's voice, warning him that he would need all the skills to survive the upcoming test. While puzzling this out, he was suddenly blasted by a sudden red lightning, an imitation force attack from a holographic simulacron of Darth Desalis, which is one of the ancient Sith. He is actually a Pa'an. Is that how you say his species name?
Mm-hmm.
So he's the Grand Inquisitor's species, if anybody's known Rebels and all that. So Darth Desalis was an ancient Padawan Jedi who rebelled against the Jedi Order and assumed the mantle of Sith Lord. Leading a violent incursion, his army was ultimately drawn into a trap and destroyed by he was being killed by the Jedi Council of the day. Due to his powers and reputation, the Jedi Order created a holographic simulation modeled after him for the training of the Jedi Padawans during their final trials. Despite the widespread destruction within the temple during its ransacking, the simulation remained fully functional along with several others within the temple. And obviously, Starkiller passes the trial of skill. And onwards, we get to Raxus Prime. So, as Raxus Prime is in the Tyon hegemony in the Outer Rim, the trip took a considerable length of time and gave Starkiller a chance to refresh and research the objectives. However, he was distracted and frequently had to ask Proxy to repeat the mission details that he had missed while in deep in thought, and eventually retreated to the onboard meditation chamber to gather his energies. Settling down as close to the temple as possible, given the treacherous junk pile landscape, Starkiller progressed on foot, while focused entirely on the mission at hand, ignoring all other distractions. Updated by Juno of activity at a downed Corvette near the location, Starkiller assumed that Vader's orders to leave no witnesses still stood and attack the Rodan salvagers, though he ignored most of the droids controlled by the planetary intelligence known as the Core. And yeah, I did not like this planet.
No.
I'm not a fan of Raxus Prime when it comes to the game. It was highly annoying.
So, did you ever play the original Clone Wars game? It came out for the Xbox. It used to release in a dual pack with Xbox and Tetris World.
I don't think I had a chance to play that one.
So you go to Raxus Prime on that one as well.
Oh god.
And it's actually pretty terrifying. It's available like for $10 on the Xbox store. It's like a vehicle shooter. So
okay.
You go around in the like clone style tank a lot. And some other vehicles, like you fly the LAAT gunship and some other stuff. And then you play as Mace Windu, Obi-Wan, and Anakin, and they each have different planets or stories that they deal with. But they go after this like ancient dark side entity or whatever. like machine or something. But it's set during the Clone Wars. It's really interesting. But yeah, Raxus Prime is on that one too.
Interesting.
I just really hate. I don't mind the first time we go to Raxus Prime, but the re-return
Yeah.
is so much worse.
Yeah, I mean, let's be honest, most of the re-returns it gets worse every time. You go back to the planet and it's like, oh, what happened? So, cautiously ascending to the Junk Temple's foyer, Starkiller was attacked by Kazdan Paratus? Parius?
Partis or something like that, probably.
Paratus. Droid sentries. He made a short work of them being used in duels with a sophisticated droid like Proxy. Partis was an Alina, a small being, but compensated with four-limbed mechanical harness on his back, with the limbs offering him extra height and mobility. Partis was able to wield his lightsaber pike with deadly skill, and the mannequins of the Jedi Council Masters now activated, revealing themselves to be droids. The Starkiller momentarily dispatched by them.
Okay, so this fight and this planet, it's so interesting because I remember these droids or quote unquote droids come up and you kill them, and Starkiller reminds he's like, they have the Force. And like, so Partis is like taking these droid scraps and binding together with the Force.
Mm-hmm.
It's some interesting stuff, but I remember because this is the first time we really see the lightsaber pipe.
Yeah.
At least in like a major video game.
Mm-hmm. That's true. And I would say the next time we really see a lightsaber pike in like major Star Wars stuff would be not until SWTOR.
Right. This comes in. Like, I really appreciated this because this game made the Royal Guard, like the Imperial Guards, the Red Guards, so much cooler, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that their little things they carry are lightsabers. I wish that was actual canon, but it's not.
No, it's not, sadly. So, as Pietus lay dying, he lamented on his failure before expiring in a brilliant flash of Force energy. Starkiller was actually moved to pity by the emotional display, who quickly repressed it and departed. En route back to the Execure, Starkiller devoted some effort towards repairing Pietus' shattered lightsaber pike so it would be presented as a trophy to Vader, but the unsuccessful and abandoned the effort, instead telekinetically disassembling and reassembling his own lightsaber while in meditation. And then we now get to Starkiller. He goes back to the Jedi Temple again for another trial. So we have the Trial of Insight. So entering the Jedi Archives, Starkiller cleared the chamber, and at the moment, however, he saw Juno Eclipse at the head of the hall, bent over as if in pain. As Starkiller approached, Juno, quote-unquote, leapt into the air and transformed into Darth Phobos. Which Darth Phobos is another Sith Lord, before the Clone Wars. So another holographic simulation, Darth Phobos was a powerful Sith Lord who fed off the fears of her enemies and assuming the shape of these horrors through various Force-based illusions. And then with his victory over Darth Phobos, Starkiller had faced his fears and completed his trial of insight. It was then that Darth Vader appeared, speaking via proxy once more, and the Dark Lord congratulated his young apprentice for successfully against Phobos, and charged Starkiller with hunting down the former Jedi Master Shaak Ti on Felucia.
So, two things. We'll talk about Shaak Ti in a minute. But Star Wars is sometimes too on the nose because, like, Phobos is the Greek god of fear.
Yeah.
Kind of like, Darth Maul is like Lord Bad. Is what his name means. Lord Bad. Lord Fear. Lord Father for Darth Vader. Just sometimes Star Wars isn't complicated.
Oh, God, no.
Yeah.
I mean, making a world and universe as expanse that it is, yeah, they're going to just rip off other things in mythology.
Well, like, and they just bring up other things. Like, even if another example is the fact that Vitiate's real name, like his name before he was Vitiate was Tenebrae, which is the Latin word for darkness.
Mm-hmm. Yep. What do you do to make like villains sound cool? Use Latin.
Use Latin words for evil things.
Yeah.
Darth bad. Lord bad.
Because, let's be honest, not many people know Latin.
No.
So now, so with that, we do now go to Felucia. So, Starkiller barely said a word during his trip to Felucia, instead looming at the back of the cockpit with his head raised, only speaking to give orders and avoiding all of Juno's attempts to converse. Upon arrival, Starkiller questioned Juno about the emotional disturbance he felt in her. She confided to him her involvement in the bombing of Kalos and how it was a consequence of her own actions. What was once a verdant jungle world had become dead and barren. Starkiller had read the reports and assured her that she had to follow her orders to the end. Starkiller was quickly engaged by the Felucian natives, an elite entire race of force sensitives who inevitably been trained by Shakti while hiding on the world. He dealt with them quickly and efficiently, saving his energy for his ultimate target. And these are these other enemies I despise too.
I hate the concept of being stun locked or like even like block locked. And the Felucians, like, if you don't use something like Saber Slam or some kind of electric ability to stun them, you like can't get a hit in. Like none of your combos will lay on because their guard is just too much, and then they hit you and you're stun locked, and it's very frustrating. But I remember when the first Felucian came out riding the Rancor.
Oh yeah.
That was awesome.
Yeah, that's true. That one that was cool. So, while the Felucians fled from him, Starkiller made his way towards the village center, finding it a maw of a sarlacc. The entire town was built around a mega sarlacc dubbed the Ancient Abyss by the Felucians, and awaiting him there was Shakti. While the Felucians fled from him, Starkiller made his way towards the... Oh, wait, I did that. I made 2 paragraphs of that. So Starkiller quietly left, satisfied that the removal of Shakti's influence would allow the dark side to gain a hold of the Felucia and return to life as the normal rhythms. Starkiller reported his mission's success to Vader, who concluded the entire time that the time was right for both them to overthrow the Emperor in a combined effort together. Order returned to the Executor. Starkiller was congratulated by proxy for the immediate completion of his primarily programming. And yeah, he defeats Shakti and sends her body down the Sarlacc, and essentially a force explosion happens.
Just want to pause for a moment. I know this isn't a Shakti episode, but we have 4 confirmed deaths for Shakti across Legends and canon. There are 2 in Revenge of the Sith.
Mm-hmm.
So there is one where Shakti is killed by Grievous. Both are deleted scenes, so none of them made it into the movie. But the first one is she's killed by Grievous, because if you watch the original Clone Wars cartoon, she's captured by Grievous at the end of that Clone Wars series. The other one time is she's killed on Anakin's assault. She's the first victim of Anakin's assault on the temple. That's also a deleted scene. In the Bad Batch, it's heavily implied that she's killed on Kamino during Order 66. And then this one.
That's a lot. So do they not know what to do with her death? It's
I
not
guess not.
hard. It's
You
just
know,
pick a place and she died.
We don't see her face. We don't see her face, but I think you remember from the first season of The Bad Batch when they like return to Kamino after Order 66. They like see a Jedi on a stretcher and there's a lightsaber that's very similar to Shakti's.
That's true. And wasn't she like wasn't she like a guardian or something like that for Kamino or something?
She was in charge of clone training.
Oh, okay, that's what it was.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's probably what it was. Like that's, if we go and probably look it up, it probably stated somewhere on Twitter or the Star Wars website or something that Shakti probably died on Kamino during Order 66.
Yes, but we have 4 confirmed deaths for Shakti.
Yep, they just didn't know where to kill her.
She dies more than Krillin does in Dragon Ball Z. Which, you know what? Okay, so
I mean, Krillin has died 3 times.
3 times. 3 times. I don't really count Boo because like that was a mass murder, so it's not like he was fighting Boo and died in battle.
True.
So he's killed by Frieza and he's killed by Tambourine.
Mm-hmm. So technically 2/3 if you count the Boo massacre.
Yeah.
But there's your Dragon Ball reference for this episode.
4 if you count GT.
Oh wait, we don't consider that anything. Okay. GT's its own thing and it's separated from all of other Dragon Ball stuff. Oh god, that was a mess. Anyway, that's all I have for part 1 for Galen Marek or Starkiller.
I just want to say that like we're getting into kind of the good stuff. The real turning point of the story is coming in the next episode. And I remember it being introduced to Starkiller and I was like, this is so cool. Like that game does a really good job of making you feel powerful. But it also does a good job of like letting you play as Vader when you enter, and then going to Starkiller lets you feel powerful, but you can immediately feel the difference between playing as Vader versus playing as Starkiller in the measure of like power and the abilities of what you can do.
Yeah. You really like the game, like right at the get-go is like, this is how powerful Vader is in universe. And this is Starkiller. It's like Starkiller is very skilled, very powerful in his own right, but has nothing against Vader at the get-go at all. That's like their power gap is insane.
Yes, it's very large. But yeah, I like Starkiller. I can't wait to talk about him a little bit next week.
Yeah, next week's episode is the big turning point of the game in his character, and you really see. And that's another thing I liked about Force Unleashed. You start with a character who is so engrossed as Vader's apprentice in the dark side, and then you see his character develop slowly through the game after each like level, and see him grow as not only as a force wielder but as a person.
So I will be honest, this is one of the only games that I've ever like save scummed. And like I didn't want to play through the whole game again and then just to make the dark side
due to the other ending. Yeah, that's fair.
So I like loaded a previous save of the level and did.
That's perfectly like understandable. The game's long.
But the dark side ending is so unsatisfying. And like just doesn't feel it feels like not a satisfying end to the character arc we're taking through. I think that it was an afterthought and they said, "Oh, well, you know, people like this dark side light side choice in Star Wars games, so let's get it." But I really think the developers were like, "No, there's not, like this is a light side choice game."
Yeah. And, I mean, even then, you compare to, like, so they did novelizations of Force Unleashed, and the novelization, they go a lot more in depth with Starkiller's character and his choices and everything, and at the end, it is a light side choice. There is no dark side, light side ending of the book because it's a book. And yeah, I would imagine like the developers of the game just threw that in there, just say, hey, here's a player choice. Let's do something fun. But narratively, it's always going to be light side. And that's Star Wars as a whole. It's always going to be light side. That's just Star Wars as a whole.
The only canon they kind of leave up for debate is the Exiles canon, even though that is technically canonically light side based on the Revan novel. But like, even you could take the Revan novel and be like, oh, well, you could have gone light side or dark side in this point.
Well, but the Exiles story is also not as, like, it's important through the story, but it's not as, their story isn't as heavy, as important as Revan's story.
No, and like your light side and dark side choices don't have an effect on how the game ends.
Correct. Whereas, you know, KOTOR 1, your light side or dark side ending is highly... The universe changes at a large, depending on your choice.
But yeah, I wish they kind of would have left the Starkiller story as canon, just because I like the formation of the rebellion around Starkiller, but we'll talk about that next episode.
Yep, I agree.
And so, yeah, that's everything.
That it is.
All right. Thanks for listening.
And may the Force be with you.
Thank you for listening to Holocron Histories, Star Wars Canon versus Legends. You can find us on the Robots Radio Discord at robotsradio.net. You can also follow us on Twitter at SWHoloHistories and contact us at holocronhistories@gmail.com.
Shipping, billing, admin, payroll, marketing. You're managing all the things, so why waste time sending important documents the old-fashioned way? Mail and ship when you want, how you want with Stamps.com. Print postage on demand 24/7 and schedule pickups from your office or home. Save up to 90% with automated rate shopping. That's why over 1 million small businesses trust Stamps.com. Go to Stamps.com and use code PODCAST to try Stamps.com risk-free for 60 days.